Hi guys, welcome to this video. I'm Prashant, I'm the founder of Word Pandit, and I'm bringing this series of videos to you wherein I explain previous year CAT questions. Here we've got a CAT 2018 paragraph summary question. This is a good question and it requires careful analysis. Before we get started with this video, I would request you to solve this question. So what do we have at hand here? We have a very interesting paragraph, and with paragraph summary questions, the first thing that you've got to do is you've got to analyze these paragraphs themselves before you get to the answer options. So let me do that for you. Should the moral obligation to rescue and aid persons in grave peril, in grave danger? So if someone is in grave danger, is there a moral obligation to rescue and aid such people felt by a few be enforced by the criminal law? So what you're basically saying is, I'll give you an example of this in the real world. Imagine someone is in danger on the road, right? Or you see something being done to a particular person, somebody is being beaten up, or you believe that somebody is in some sort of threat. Now, once you've identified that this external person is in threat, you might not know this person, right? So he might be about to get into an accident or something of that sort. Is it your moral obligation to help out this person, and should this be enforced by criminal law? So for example, if someone was about to get in an accident, you are there right in front of that person or near that person, and you could have prevented that accident, right? And you did not. Should you be penalized because you did not fulfill your moral obligation? So that's what this paragraph is talking about. Should we follow the lead of a number of European countries and enact bad Samaritan laws? So a Samaritan is what? A good Samaritan is whom? A good Samaritan is a person who works for the welfares of fellow citizens. He helps out other people, other citizens, just for the sake of helping them out and just for their welfare. He thinks well of others. A bad Samaritan is a citizen who has bad intentions for others. Bad Samaritan laws in this particular context refer to people who don't help others when they should. Proponents of bad Samaritan laws must overcome at least three different sorts of obstacles. So people who support these laws, right, they have to overcome three different sorts of obstacles. What are these? First, they must show that the laws are morally legitimate in principle, that is, that the duty to aid others is a proper candidate for legal enforcement, right? So if you put in this bad Samaritan laws, these should be morally legitimate, right? And these should be the proper candidate, these should be fit for legal enforcement. You should not be forcing people to do something which is not morally right. That's thing number one. Thing number two, they must show that this duty to aid can be defined in a way that can be fairly enforced by the courts. So this is this is actually a logical flaw in these particular laws, right? If you think about it from a personal perspective, you can see that how difficult it is to enforce such laws. How do you decide you should have helped another person? How do you decide that, right? So there has to be a system where you can enforce these laws. Third, they must show that the benefits of the laws are worth their problems, risks, and costs. So obviously there are going to be problems, risks, and costs in enforcing these laws. So there is a legal cost as well. The police will be involved, lawyers will be involved, courts will be involved. So is it worth taking all these risks? And also, you would be effectively infringing upon the rights of others as well. So someone might say, I don't want to help other people, that is my choice. So it becomes a pretty tricky debate, right? So the author is pointing out that there are three major issues with this, and he's highlighting that even though there are proponents of bad Samaritan laws, there are these three major obstacles to this. Now, has he passed a judgment that these laws should be enforced? He's not done that, right? Has he said these laws are good or bad? The author specifically has not done that, right? He's not said that they should be enforced. He's not said these laws are good. He's not said these laws are bad or terrible. He's given us food for thought and he's left it open, right? So there is a discussion that is meant to follow this, right? So the conclusion has not been reached. Now, option number A, a number of European countries that have successfully enacted bad Samaritan laws may serve as model statutes. So they might serve as model states. The thing with this is that this is just a fact in the passage. This is not the summary of the passage, right? We need an option which highlights that there are A, bad Samaritan laws. These could be enforced and there are issues with these. So we need to be careful. This is what we are searching for. B, everyone agrees that people ought to aid others. The only debate is whether to have a law in it. Where has the author said that everyone agrees on this? There are proponents of bad Samaritan laws. In fact, this implies there are other people who don't agree with this, right? So everyone is incorrect, extreme word. See, if bad Samaritan laws are found to be legally sound and enforceable, they must be enacted. Now the problem with this is we had this discussion like a few seconds back where we talked about the fact that the author has not given any judgment. He's not said whether these laws are good, whether these laws are bad, these must be enacted, they must not be enacted. Option number C says that they must be enacted if the laws are found legally sound and enforceable. Remember, legally enforcing them is one part. The third part is the first and the second part are about the legal enforcement, right? The third part is they must show that the benefits of the laws are worth their problems, risks, and costs. It's not only about legally sound and legal enforcement, right? So again, this option is ruled out. Option number D, bad Samaritan laws may be desirable, but they need to be tested for legal soundness. So these might be desirable. Remember, the wording here is very, very critical. He says they may be desirable. He's not said that they are desirable. So he's already given himself leeway here. There is room in this question, but they need to be tested for legal solutions. It's the second half of this paragraph which raises question marks whether these can be legally enforced or not. Legal soundness is a very generic term which encompasses everything, right? All the factors which have been mentioned above. Hence, statement number D is the best summary. In this case, does not violate anything. The other three options, either they violate something in the passage or they are not the appropriate summary for the passage. This is how you analyze this particular paragraph. Hopefully so you've understood the context as well as the answer options as well as the analysis. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, happy learning.